By a show of hands, who here has a favorite piece of artwork? It could be a tattoo, it could be a logo, it could be an album cover. Now I want you to remember that artwork, and I want you to put it in the back of your head, because I'm going to explain to you how Francisco de Goya led the art world to that art that you love so much. Francisco de Goya was a major art influence in the art world. As an art major, and my career being art as well, a tattoo artist, I've studied him, and he has impacted my work in many ways. And he has still influences artists today, and probably has in fact impacted one of you, or most of you, without your knowledge. So today I'll be explaining Goya's background, past works, and how Goya's past works, how it impacted modern art today. To understand the transition between Goya's work, first let me explain his life. Goya's life, though very successful, was a very sad life. According to metmuseum.org website, he was actually born in Fuentedo, Spain, 1746. At an age 14, began studying with the painter Jose Lucian Martinez. Just age 14, he was an artist, and he knew what he wanted to do. When he left that art apprenticeship, he actually went to go work for two brothers who opened an art store, and they sold art there. He actually went to go work there after failing many times as in art competitions, as a drawing competitions. He actually failed multiple times before he decided to go sell art, where he actually met his wife. He married one of the brother's sisters, where he still marries them today. And according to biography.com, in 1779, Goya won an appointment as a painter to the royal court, which is a huge deal back then. So what the royal court painter did was he just painted the halls. He painted the photographs of royalty, and it was a high sought after job where you just got to do what you wanted to do, and you got to paid a lot, and you had all the resources that you need because paint was really hard to come by back in the day. And Goya kept rising in fame, and he moved working from monarchy to the next. He kept working for all these royalties and fame, King Louis, during the 1700s, during the revolutions of the Spanish empires. But the artist still left a sad life as he went and he rose in fame. He got popular kings and queens. And according to NewScientist.com, in the autumn of 1792, when he was about 46, Goya fell ill with what physicians described as colic. But they actually don't really know for sure what happened to him per se, because he didn't keep very many records of his life, because he was a very pessimistic man. Because when he received the colic, though he survived it, he was left permanently deaf, so he couldn't hear anything anymore. As Goya's fame rose, his mental health kind of took a decline, and you can see the change in the artist is actually really interesting. You can change the artist through his through his works. Now I get to explain how his modern works transitioned through his life. So according to History.org, the portrait of the Spanish royal family was made the height of Goya's career as a court painter. Charles IV of Spain and his family was the masterpiece to come out of the court paintings. This was one of his first works. He just got hired as a court painter. His life is good. He's getting married. You can see the bright colors. That's kind of in the scenery. Everyone's happy and beautiful. Moving on, he was later on accused of scandals as his life took a downward spiral. Starting with this painting. So this painting is a kind of like the Mona Lisa. No one really knows who she is, but it is a nude of a royalty. They do know that from the presence and the painting inside. And the materials and the colors made for this painting were really expensive back in the day. So this is the height of his career, and also the main draw to his supposed scandals, which led to a more pessimistic lifestyle. Leading to his very last painting later on in his life. This is Saturn devouring his sun, a very dark painting. In a world of Christianity and Catholicism, this was very odd to see something so dark and black. No one ever used black, because black is such a dark color. So you can see his pessimism and darkness and just rawness in this. So you can see how his life turned from like happy to sad. So lastly, we're going to be linking Goya to the art pieces that you love and that you kept in the back of your head as a major mover in the art field. Although his life was full of tragic events, masked by an eventful career, Goya still managed to change art forever. According to Britannica.com, he was undoubtedly a revolutionary artist. He was labeled as the last great master artist, the last great master, and he was also the transition into modern art. So he was labeled also the very first modern artist. So he inspired people such as Salvador Dali and Pablo Picasso, who decided to break all art following his aspects, leading you to the art that you see today. So without this, you would have left in a world, hopefully someone would have broke the chain of a world of Jesus Christ portraits and holy divinities and portraits of royalties and just landscapes, mindless landscapes. So in conclusion, I have explained Francisco Goya's life, major artworks, and how he impacted major artwork today, and how he led to your artwork. So if you see any artwork that's not religious related or or that's abstract or has color or is dark or cruel or your scary movies or those tattoos that you love so much, those designs and those patterns that are not tribal, those all originated and a major impact from Francisco de Goya. So next time you're enjoying those pieces of work, such as those tattoos, those album covers, those little logos, maybe you're looking at food labels, all of that was a huge impact, was hugely impacted by the greatest art mover of his time, Francisco de Goya. And that concludes my speech. I will now open the floor for questions and answers. Do I have a question? That is a great question. He asked, did Francisco de Goya die of any illnesses? He did not die of any illnesses. He died of just old age. He died just a sad old man in loneliness and seclusion. Thank you. Next question. Excuse me. Yes. Great question. She asked if he ever did any other artworks beside portraits. No, he didn't. He did many landscapes. He did tons of artwork. So yes, his art goes beyond just the dark, just the portraits. So does all these other artists. So if you look at any artists, you can tell that their skill goes beyond what they're known for. They can do realism and all the other stuff as well. That concludes my question and answer period. If you have any more questions, you can please feel free to email me. Thank you so much.